Alright, welcome back to another fantasy video. Today we're going to be discussing PGL Cluj-Napoca, which is quite an interesting tournament because of the player pricings, and I'll get to that shortly. But first, let's look at my Krakow playoffs team. Hero ended up being a good pick. Unfortunately, no one else really performed at a good enough level to give me a better result here. I got 12 points in the end, which is okay, but it could definitely have been better. I said in my previous video that I didn't want to pick Apex because I felt like he overperformed, but he did keep up that performance, and Vitality did not end up winning the whole tournament. And I feel, or I think that the winning team, or the team that got number one for this event, had like Saiwu, Apex, Roland. Then I actually can't remember, so let me check real quick. Yeah, Tenir and Zontic. So like, I feel like the first fantasy teams that have done well for this season have been like super boring. So I might be going with something like that myself, even though I don't really want to. But just looking at this, looking at the teams for this event and the opening matchups, we can even run a slight simulator here. I already kind of have done. I feel like Furia have a super generous opening game against Bait. Probably one of the most one-sided opening games, at least in my opinion. Vitality G2, Vitality should come through, of course, because they're the number one team in the world. But G2 are definitely a step up from Bait. Falcons against 3D Max, they already played earlier this season, and I don't think that should be a problem for Falcons. But at the same time, the Falcons have not been as strong as promised, if you want to put it that way. But I still feel like they shouldn't have any problems, at least making it to 2-0 in this stage. But you never know with Falcons. And Astralis have been surprisingly good, I would say. But I feel like Navi are the stronger team there. And I feel like Mouse Paravision is probably one of the most interesting opening round games. I definitely feel like Mouse are the obvious favorites here, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Paravision win this game. But at the same time, I feel like Paravision are probably going to drop off a bit from them winning Blast Bounty. I don't think they're going to be like a permanent, like... They could be a permanent top 10 team, maybe, but not a top 5 team. I just don't see that happening. There's no Spirit, of course. FaZe have a good game against Heroic, who still don't have Alcaran. I feel like Mongols against Pain is the biggest toss-up of this opening bracket. I feel like this could go either way. I still believe in the Mongols, but it is difficult to call. And Aurora Foot is interesting because of the veto. Um, because Aurora are going to be able to pick Anubis, which they love to pick. But also, Aurora have been really bad at Mirage. So, and that is a super good map for Foot. So I feel like this is definitely a 3-map series. And it could go either way. But I just feel like Aurora should pull through here. And I'm not going to go and predict the whole thing, because I feel like that's just overthinking it. And there's definitely going to be an upset here. I definitely don't think all of the favorites are going to win here. I feel like there is going to be an upset. I just don't know where to find it. It could be Paravision, it could be Pain, it could be Foot. It could even be Astralis. I don't know. And that is the reason I'm not going to go and try and like do the whole simulator. Because I feel like that is not the smartest way to think about this. But essentially, I feel like at least two of the teams that I'm gonna say out next are gonna make it 3-0, and those teams are Furia, Vitality, Falcons, Mouse. I feel like two of those teams are gonna go 3-0, and that's kind of where I wanted to put my money. But let's just jump into the player pricings, which are, and this is why I think that this fantasy event is one of the most difficult, more difficult ones that I have seen in a while. Because I feel like there are no absolute steals for their price. Like Vitality, as expected, are super expensive. Yakindra at 218, just he's been doing okay, but and Fury are a top seed. But at the same time, it's so difficult to justify going for Furia here because Yuri has been really bad at the start of the season, and I don't really want to pay 195 for Fallen. There's, I really wanted to go for Furia, but it's just so hard to do it because the money is just not there. Tessus is cheaper than Kixan, which is, I mean, they've been pretty much at the same rating. So I understand people going for Tessus, and I definitely try to use him in my drafts. And, you know, he occasionally has a pop off tournament, but like the thing or the players that I immediately was drawn to or one of the players was Kiyosuke, who has been having a really good start to the season. Flames as well. Mouse I kind of like, but at the same time, again, everyone is so expensive. Like even Vision, like if you try to pair them up with any of the top teams, you don't really have money to do anything with the fifth player. Days are expensive. Navi are like kinda expensive. Like I kinda like Hunter as a fifth pick, but like with the teams been trying to go with, I just can't fit them in. And I just don't see a world where I'm gonna go with any of these lower teams except Foot. But again, I'm not sure if I'm overrating them or not. I might be. And I kind of had the feeling that they don't have enough reps yet to make it through the stage, but they definitely could. Which leads me to the drafting part of my team. And I've had Messi now in the beginning of the season, and he hasn't been doing much for me. He's been okay, but he hasn't been doing much. And Flames has been red hot started this season, so I felt like I kind of want to pick Flames. And since all of even the cheapest players in the top teams are really expensive, and Apex had a really good Krakow for his standards, I was thinking maybe I go with Apex this time. In my last video, I said, nah, no way, I'm not gonna pick him. But with the pricing being as it is, I might just. Then I tried to play around with Mouse. I thought about Spinks and Brownline, which leaves me enough money for a Major. I don't hate it. I feel like Mouse could definitely go 3-0 here. But they have a much tougher opening matchup than most teams. I mean, Vitality have G2, but it is Vitality. So I have much more faith in them than I do for Mouse. And Falcons have 3D Max, who I think they're definitely going to beat. And as I said, I would love to pick Furia, but I just can't really make it work. And Kiyosuke, as I said, has been popping off. So I try to make it work with just like Kyosuke Tessas and going with a super boring draft here, but I can only afford Hooksy, who I really don't want. So I was kinda tinkering with it, and then I thought, well, again, I might be overrating Foot. What if I go Demon and then I go Major? So I feel like Aurora has a good chance of getting through here, or at least on paper they should have. And Demon could give me better rating in that test, or he's gonna give me better rating, but padding could definitely be an attribute that faults this idea. But my original thoughts were that I really want Kyosuke and I like Flames on his current form. So this is kind of what I've been playing around with. And then I tried to do like Yeki, Fallen, SS Nico type stuff. And then I can still go major. I mean, there's a lot of teams. This is what I'm currently on. And I've been toying around with a lot. But I honestly, I haven't found a team that I'm like 100% happy with. I feel like Navi have a decent shot, but even if I even if I try and fit Navi in with like Vitality or something, I can do this and get major. And then I have like on paper two good players. But I don't know if I want to put double Navi, if I'm honest. And also what I could do with this is if I want to go 2-2-1, I could go Voxic, who has been super underwhelming at the start of the season. And I kind of want to go 2-2-1, but I just can't make it work. Because I really don't want Nico and Tessas, if I'm honest. And then I can go Alexi. It seems okay on paper and might work, but I feel like Kyosuke just outfrags Nico nowadays, like super hard. That's kind of what I want to go with. I'm just gonna show you these other teams. Like I like Krabeni honestly at his price because he's been playing super good, like much better than I thought he had. So that is an option if you can find the extra 1k to go with it. But yeah, I'm still toying around with this. I just wanted to make a video a bit earlier than one day before. So this is what I'm currently on, subject to change. But as usual, I'm gonna link my team in the description. I'm also gonna make a league if you want to join and compete against me. But yeah, these are my preliminary thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys are going with. And yeah, good luck with this one, guys.